So you were given this maze twice. You were told to come in from this outside corner and make it into the center, right, the first time. And probably most of you would have tried to go in through the maze, kind of come around. You figured out that eventually, after a bunch of mistakes, that you could kind of come around in this way and get to the center of the maze, right? A lot of you probably did that. Some of you maybe didn't finish it the first time but got close. Then the second time it said do it again, but try to do it faster, right? You don't have as much time. So probably what should have happened with most of you is that you'd go straight in, get on that same path, and try to follow that same path, but do it faster, right? So even if you hadn't finished the last time, you probably got kind of close, so you'd stay on the path you knew, and you would get there to the center, right? You'd stick to the path you knew. There's probably a few of you that are like, well, I'm going to do another pathway entirely and try to find another pathway. And if you did, on the inside, you probably would have dead-ended. However, right, so here's the solution to the maze, right? If you're coming from the different corners, okay? I was telling you to come from this corner, so if you notice, that's the longest route. You got to go all the way around and here through this one corner that's already pretty close, and then come to the center. Which, if I could tell you to go from any corner, you could have found out that going through the left-hand corner is the fastest way by far, right? It's pretty quick and direct. So I'm wondering how many of you on the second time said, oh, I'm trying to do this faster. If you'd already figured it out, well, let's go around the outside, then jump in this corner, and get to the middle of the maze. That wouldn't have broken the rules you were given, which was just start at this right corner. You could have gone around the gun inside the maze and solved it. That would have been a lot faster. But, you know, again, some of you might have done that. But what's very common, what probably happened with most of you, is that you would have just gone in and done the exact same thing you already knew. Because you already had figured out a pathway that worked or was very close to working, right? Like, your brain's going to save time. It's like, oh, I don't have time, so I'm just going to go straight in and do what I already know. Because it takes extra time to stop and think of some alternative. Even if you had stopped and thought, you could have done the whole thing much faster overall, right? On the front end, you don't know that. You don't know that that solution's going to work. And so your brain's like, forget it. I'm going to stay on the pathway that I know. I'm going to do it that way. And this is exactly how your brain develops habits, right? You do something one way, you get the results you want, right? Which is get to the center of the maze. And then it doesn't matter if that's not a very good way to do it, and there's a whole lot of cost. In this case, the cost is there's a lot of extra work you have to do and go around the corners and say maybe some other bad things happen with that. It still seems to you, your brain's like, it's faster for me. I don't want to stop and think. Stopping and thinking slows me. Right? Unfortunately, stopping and thinking is the only way you break a bad habit, but it's really hard, right? Again, just like your brain pathways. Your brain's just like a maze, right? It finds its path and it sticks to it, right? With time, it will sort of make that path a little narrower, but fact of the matter is it sticks to what it knows, right? Unless you do some extra work and really push yourself and practice in a different way to change that, or stop and think and make yourself stop and think every way. That is how habit loops are developed. So let's go in a little bit deeper.